from the studio in Nitro, West Virginia. This is Unreasonable Down. It's a podcast about West Virginia University basketball. Now, that's a break. We're back. That took quite a break. And I don't know who's listening to this. It's fine. It's June. So far away from WVU basketball. But we're back. I'm back. Hopefully you're back. Had to pay respect to the West Virginia University baseball team and their run in their postseason. Congrats to Steve Sabins and the squad. Got to Omaha College World Series, apparently for the first time ever. Made it to the Final Four. So shout out to those guys. I watched one game from beginning to end, and it was the first loss in Omaha against North Carolina. The baseball team wants me to pay attention from a distance, catching clips, reading about what's happening, seeing the clip of takeoff of in the regional round hosted by West Virginia, comeback win, Unison Country Roads. They want me after the fact. The one time I checked in, it's not my fault. I'm not taking blame for this, but I watched one game and they played North Carolina really tough and then lost. Then I didn't watch. They thumped Troy and then they lost again. And I didn't watch that second time and they still lost. So that means whether I watched or didn't, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just telling you, one game, 0-1. But that singing of Country Roads, it's like the country didn't know we did that. That's how good the fan base was singing Country Roads. The team was singing Country Roads. Our guy was on the mic singing Country Roads for the post-game interview. They catch him singing. It was, now for me, basketball guy, that was the best clip of Country Roads playing and people singing it since the 2010 Big East Tournament Championship. That's my number one. Not that you can hear the crowd singing and you're cutting to the crowd. The 2010 Big East Tournament Championship, it lives on the internet in standard definition. West Virginia has not won in basketball a postseason tournament in HD. But that's my favorite, the 2010 Big East Tournament Championship. Of course, West Virginia won that game. Country Roads is playing in Madison Square Garden. Bob Huggins' voice cracking when he's talking to Doris Burke. Country Roads playing in the background. That's always going to be number one for me until that changes. I hope that changes in my lifetime, but that's number one. Number two is at Ken Kendrick Stadium there in Morgantown. The vibes were high. And you want good vibes around the university. And I don't know how baseball rolls into basketball as far as vibes, but when you got good vibes, you want to keep, you want to pass those along. And so the vibes for baseball can roll into year 2 of Rich Rod 2.0, and then maybe they keep the vibes up going into Ross Hodge year 2. But shout out to the baseball team. What's happened in the many weeks since this podcast has been put out? Not a ton. There's not much happening. Technically, still one roster spot available. No news that I can see as far as if that's even going to get filled. No waiver news for Jabin Buchanan. And I wasn't expecting that, but no news there. We did get Big 12 news as far as who West Virginia is going to play during the conference schedule. We don't know the order or the days, but we know who they're going to play at home, who they're going to play away, and the 3 teams they're going to play home and home. And so the good news, the 3 home and homes, 2 of them are our Eastern Standard Time teams. The other 2 that are in the Big 12, Jared Calhoun and his Cincinnati Bearcats, that's a home and home. Johnny Dawkins, a great basketball coach for UCF, will play them home and home. And then the third is a tough one. It's Type Polo guy and the Iowa State Cyclones. So got to go to Hilton. They come to Morgantown. Those are the three. The away schedule, rough. It includes Fog Allen, technically West Virginia on a winning streak in Fog Allen. Lubbock, I can't remember the last time West Virginia won there. Waco, also feels like it's been forever. Late night in Provo, I'm going to go ahead and call that. They make a Utah trip this coming season, and I don't know who plays for BYU, but they are very difficult at home. So the away schedule is rough. The home schedule, a little easier on paper. We are hosting Houston, like I'm on the team. West Virginia's hosting Houston, hosting Arizona. So we'll get the actual schedule in a few months. We're not in the desert yet, but we're getting close to basketball desert. We did get our first social media video from the men's basketball team, June workouts. I'm guessing that's what they call them in June, workouts. It was sponsored, just like last year. Last year, the sponsors, why would you remember this? They were like the sponsors were in the video, but you couldn't read them very well. They fixed that. Shout out to the media team for showing the sponsors clearly at the end of the video. I recognize no one in the video. They're wearing t-shirts. So there's no numbers that I can kind of point to and maybe get a guess. It's just a bunch of basketball players. One thing I noticed is that the guys in a quick clip, they're dribbling heavy basketballs. They look like they were there for Halloween. I had to do some research. Heavy basketballs. Apparently that helps in ball handling. And that's an advancement in basketball technology I wasn't aware of. So that's news in mid-June. What else has happened in the podcast break, basketball-wise? Deuce McBride, shout out to Deuce, NBA champion. Deuce has put me in a tough spot of I am rooting for Deuce McBride always. He plays for the New York Knicks, a team, candidly, I shouldn't have anything against. I've never found myself rooting for the New York Knicks. Shout out to the Phoenix brothers, Raspy Boys kids. They are really and truly the only Knicks fans I know. Yeah, I mean, Deuce is putting me in a tough spot. But shout out to the Knicks, first NBA championship in my lifetime. Joe Mazzulla, NBA champion. Deuce McBride, NBA champion. So shout out to Deuce. What else? No Best Virginia in the basketball tournament this year. They're pressing pause. The basketball tournament, mixing up what they're doing. They have a 14-team tournament. I think teams are playing 2 out of 3. They're switching it up, and the way they're switching it up, it doesn't involve Best Virginia. Sounds like a pause. We'll see if we ever see Best Virginia in TBT in the summer. I've kind of leaned on that as a fan to kind of get me through the basketball desert that is late summer, getting into fall. We don't have that this year. So the basketball drought is going to be longer than normal. NBA finals just wrapped up. NBA draft coming in a few weeks. A week after that, I believe, is NBA free agency. And then it's basketball. It's a basketball desert. So for all my basketball friends, stay strong out there. And that's it. What else basketball? I can't think of anything else. And when you can't think of anything else on the basketball front, WVU or otherwise, let's talk about Miles Sadler. First of all, the name Miles. I like that name. Have you ever met somebody named Kilometers? Miles Sadler is the 20th overall ranked guy in the 2026 class in 24/7 Sports. The 3rd highest rated point guard. Uncharted territory here for West Virginia. Sadler is, since 24/7 has been ranking recruits, it's the highest ranked 24/7 recruit Miles Sadler since they've been doing it. So what does that mean for WVU? First, I took a look at the third best point guard in each recruiting class prior to this year. And just to get a feel of what kind of guy has been in this spot in previous recruiting classes. Okay. And here's the list. The third best point guard in the 2025 class was a guy, have you heard of him? Kingston Flemings. He played for Houston. He averaged 16 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds a game. Projected NBA lottery pick, Kingston Flemings. 2024, the third best point guard, LeBaron Filan. Hope I'm saying his name right. Alabama. He went 11-4 as a freshman, 22-5 this season, and he's projected to be an NBA first-round pick. 2023 class, Aiden Holloway, the rare guy who played for Auburn and Alabama. He went for 7-3 as a freshman, went to Alabama, and I'm just going to read this to you in my notes. He got caught with 2 pounds of pot in his apartment right before the NCAA tournament. So I don't know, but so that's Aiden Holloway. That's 2023. 2022, Tyrese Proctor from Duke. He averaged 9 points, 3 assists as a freshman. Second-round draft pick last year. Third best point guard in the 2021 class, J.D. Davison. I don't know where he played, but he was 9-4, second-round draft pick in 2022. And then the 2020 class, the third best point guard, Daishen Nix. He went straight to G League Ignite, and he was undrafted. So listening to that list, there's a lot of references to being picked in the NBA draft. So it's fair to assume, and we've seen the clips of Miles Sadler, and we know his reputation, and the last 6 classes kind of give the feel that the third best point guard in the class is an NBA level player. And West Virginia kind of on a run here with point guards. Currently, 3 former Mountaineers that were point guards are in the NBA, including NBA champion Deuce McBride, Javon Carter, and Javon Small. Could they have their 4th NBA point guard in Miles Sadler? He's not tall. He's listed as 6 foot, probably shorter than that. I looked at the guys in the NBA this season. 18 guys out of everybody who played in the NBA were listed 6 foot or shorter. And that included Javon Carter, who's listed at 6 foot, which is weird because Javon has shrunk. He was listed as 6'2" at Morgantown. So I don't know why that changed. He's now listed as 6 foot. But maybe your height in college sports is like the DMV. Like they just give you the sheet and you can write down whatever. And I don't think they'll flinch no matter what you put. Like I've always thought of myself as 6 foot. I'm not 6 foot. What do I have on my driver's license? I'm not telling you, but it's whatever I want. Could I be 6'3" on my driver's license? Who's to say? Miles Sadler, his driver's license, he could be 6'4". It's fine. He's probably shorter than 6 foot. Of those 18 guys who are 6 foot or shorter, only 4 of those 18 were listed as being under 6 feet tall. So 5 something. So those 4 guys, all of them were undrafted. So it's not a sure thing for Miles Sadler, but the stats say he's got a really good chance. So that's the NBA comparison. That's the 24/7 rankings comparison. Now let's compare Miles Sadler, who has not played 1 game yet in the old gold and blue. Compare him to other starting Mountaineer freshman point guards in this century, in the 2000s. Who were they and how did they do? Because we got to figure out, we might have Miles Sadler for one season. Is there a comparable? Let's go through the guys. The first guy will live in infamy in WVU basketball, but should live as like the turning point. It's Jonathan Hargett. Jonathan Hargett, freshman starting point guard in the 2001-02 season. He averaged 14 points and 5 assists. Read Drew Shafino's account of Jonathan Hargett's season at WVU in his book, but that didn't go well. That team lost 18 of their last 19 games, but in Mountaineer basketball history, Jonathan Hargett is the turning point because he had to be bad. I mean, he good stats, train wreck behind the scenes, and team morale not great. Gail Cabot retired before the end of the season. Cup of coffee with the one guy, and then we get John Beeline, and then we rise like a phoenix. And so it has to start with Jonathan Hargett. So Jonathan Hargett, starting freshman point guard. That's who we're starting with. And so maybe we can book in Hargett starting the climb. Shout out to Neil Brown. And then bookend it with Miles Sadler doing like the opposite of what Jonathan Hargett did to that particular team in the 01-02 season. We'll see. J.D. Collins started as a freshman in Beeline's first season the next year. His stats were not great in his freshman year. He averaged a triple single. Love J.D. Collins. Big part of that awesome group that stuck together. But in his freshman year, 2 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. West Virginia finished with a losing record. Then you got to go to Truck Bryant. And Truck Bryant, to me, is in the Miles Sadler comparison department. Shorter guy, a little bit taller than Miles Sadler. Recruited for year 2 of the Huggins era, like his first actual recruiting class. And you could argue the same here with Ross Hodge in year 2. And Truck was in a great class that included Kevin Jones and Devin E. Banks. Was not a starter on opening night. That was NBA champion Joe Mazzulla, but he found his way into the starting lineup in December. Finished that season averaging 10 points and 3 assists. And of course, that team went 23-12, first round exit in the NCAA tournament. And the next season, we remember, Final Four. So Truck Bryant is the closest I've got in the Sadler comparison department as far as starting freshman point guard. The next is Jabari Hines. He started in the 2011-2012 season as a guard, shared point guard duties with Truck, Gary Brown, who also started a handful of games. Jabari averaged 7 points, 3 assists as a freshman. That team made it to the NCAA tournament, exited the first round. And then Hines, after the next season, transferred out, went to Temple. Jordan McCabe, freshman starting point guard. He got his starts after Issa and Wesley took a wrecking ball to a already like bad season. But once they got out of there, Jordan McCabe started, and he averaged 6 points, 3 assists in a season that ended with one of the craziest endings to a season that has been mentioned multiple times on this podcast, giving up over 100 points to Coastal Carolina in the SAD tournament. All right? And then the last guy, with apologies to anybody else that made spot starts, Kobe Johnson started a handful of games as a freshman in the 2021-22 season. Remember, Kobe Johnson, with love and respect, in that particular season, and I think multiple seasons, Kobe was categorized as nearly invisible in Ken Pomeroy's computer. And that team finished 16-17, and it ended with Bob Huggins saying that he'd fix it, which he did, and then, he did the opposite of fix it. So of the 6 Mountaineer teams this century that started a freshman point guard for chunks of the season. Are you sitting down for this? 4 finished with losing records, and 2 got to the NCAA tournament in their freshman year and lost their first round game. And those guys were Truck Bryant and Jabari Hines. So that's the history of freshman point guards. Again, Truck is the closest comparable. Miles Sadler, I think, is setting a higher bar. What will Sadler and the Mountaineers do this season? We'll find out in many months. It's going to take many months to get there, but we'll find out. That's it for this episode of Unreasonable Doubt. Listen on all the platforms and just pick one. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Overcast Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube. Until next time, I'm Josh Witt. WVU for the 2026-2027 season, they have 0 wins and they have 0 losses.